Shopping for the best mirrorless camera under $1,000 gets confusing fast, mostly around sensor size. APS-C versus Micro Four Thirds changes your low light performance, depth of field, and which kit lenses stay affordable. We'll break down what actually matters for vlogging and photos, so by the end, you know which one fits your use. Let's make it clear. Starting off at number 5, we've got the Sony a6400 with the 16-50 kit lens. And honestly, this is one of those cameras that earns its spot on autofocus alone. For me, that's the headline here. The eye and face tracking just locks on. People upgrading from a phone or an older DSLR keep saying the same thing. Their keeper rate jumps way up. Kids running around, pets, a friend walking and talking to camera, it stays sharp. For a beginner, that's huge, because missing focus is the thing that kills most early footage. The sensor backs it up too, 24-megapixel APS-C with clean 4K video and low-light performance that actually holds up. Pair it with decent lighting and a little color work, and the footage looks pro enough for YouTube or travel content. The flip-up screen helps when you're recording yourself, which vloggers will care about. And the kit is genuinely small. Body plus that collapsible power zoom, light enough to carry all day. For street, travel, family stuff, you'll actually bring it with you. Now the trade-off. 2 things. The a6400 has no in-body stabilization. So for handheld video, you're leaning on the lens stabilization, or a gimbal if you walk while filming. For casual clips with good technique, it's manageable, but it's worth knowing going in. The other one is that kit lens. It's convenient and compact, but optically it's just okay. Most buyers describe it as a solid starting point, not the lens they'll keep forever. The pattern is pretty consistent. People learn on it, then add a fast prime later for sharper shots and nicer background blur. So think of this as a step-up you grow into. You start light, you learn the system, and the lens path is wide open when you're ready. For a hybrid shooter who wants one small body for photos and video, that's a smart way in. The link is in the description. Moving to number 4, we've got the Canon EOS R100 with the 18-45 kit lens. And this one knows exactly what it is. A still's first camera that punches way above its price for photos. For me, that's the whole pitch. 24-megapixel APS-C sensor, Canon colors, and a jump over your phone that you notice right away. Buyers keep saying the same thing. Family shots and portraits come out sharp and detailed. With that natural background blur, a phone just fakes. If your goal is better photos of kids, pets, travel, everyday life, this delivers without making you read a manual first. It's also tiny. The smallest body in the EOS R line, light enough that it actually leaves the house with you. A camera you bring is a camera you use. Now the trade-off, and it's a real one. Video is intentionally held back. It can shoot 4K, but with a heavy crop and no fully articulating screen. So for talking head YouTube or vlogging where you flip the screen on yourself, this isn't the tool built for that job. The autofocus is solid, dual pixel with eye and face detection, but the video side is where Canon drew the line to hit this price. The kit lens is the other thing to know. It's fine in daylight genuinely, but it's slow, so low light performance leans on higher ISO, and the photos get noisier indoors or at night. This comes up a lot in reviews. People love it out of the box, then end up adding a faster prime once they start shooting in dim rooms. Good news is you're already in the Canon RF system, so that upgrade path is wide open. One small heads up. There's no memory card in the box, so budget for an SD card to start shooting day one. So think of this as your gateway into a real camera system. If photos are the priority and video is a nice extra, this is a smart, affordable way in. The link is in the description. Moving to number 3, and this one stops pretending to be a general camera. The Sony ZV-E10 was built for one job, vlogging, and it leans into it hard. For me, the pitch is simple. If you film yourself talking to camera, this is one of the easier ways in. The fully articulating screen flips all the way around, so you always see yourself framed. And the autofocus is the real selling point. The eye and face tracking just grabs onto you and holds, even at arm's length on a selfie stick. First-time owners keep saying the same thing. They stopped worrying about focus and just hit record. That confidence matters more than any spec when you're starting out. The 4K helps too. It's oversampled from 6K, which means it pulls more detail from the sensor instead of cutting corners. Footage looks clean and sharp for YouTube, a clear jump over a phone. And here's a touch I like. The built-in directional mic comes with a little wind muff, so your talking head audio is usable straight out of the box, no extra gear day one. And if this video is helping you sort through the options, subscribing really supports the channel and helps us keep making these comparisons. Now the trade-off, and it's a real one. There's no in-body stabilization. So if you walk and film in 4K, footage can get shaky, and the rolling shutter adds that jello wobble on fast pans. Several buyers point to the same fix. Use a lens with optical stabilization, or a gimbal, and shoot with deliberate movement. For sit-down videos and B-roll, it's a non-issue. For run-and-gun walking shots, plan around it. One more heads up. In long, continuous 4K takes or warm rooms, it can overheat and stop. For typical YouTube-length clips, most owners say it's fine once the settings are dialed in. But it's not the pick for hour-long events. So think of this as a streaming and sit-down vlog machine. It even runs as a clean USB webcam off a single cable. The link is in the description. Moving to number 2, and this one comes at the whole thing from a different angle. The Panasonic Lumix G7 with the 14 to 42 kit lens. For me, the pitch here is control and video for the money. This camera gives you a front and rear dial, so you set aperture and shutter without digging through menus. You can also map your favorite settings to the function buttons. If you actually want to learn the manual side of shooting, this is built for your hands, not just auto mode. Now the spec I'd really lean on. There's a feature called 4K Photo. It films 4K at 30 frames a second, then lets you pull a sharp still frame out of that footage. So for kids, pets, a jump shot, anything that happens in a split second, you stop guessing the exact moment. You just grab the right frame later. That's a genuinely clever use of 4K, and it's the kind of thing that earns its spot on the list. The body backs it up too. A bright OLED viewfinder, plus a screen that flips and swivels all the way out, which vloggers and self-recorders will want. And there's a microphone input, so your talking head audio isn't stuck on the tinny built-in mic. Here's the catch, and it's the sensor. This is Micro Four Thirds, which is smaller than the APS-C bodies higher and lower on this list. In good light, it looks great. Push it into dim rooms or night shots, and you'll see more noise sooner, so low light is where you'll feel the limit. The autofocus also leans on contrast detection, which is reliable for stills, but not as sticky for fast video tracking. But the trade-off cuts both ways. That smaller sensor means smaller, cheaper lenses. And the Micro Four Thirds system has one of the widest affordable lens lineups out there. So your total cost of ownership stays friendly as you grow. Think of this as the pick for someone who wants real manual control and 4K without overspending. The link is in the description. Before we reveal our number 1, be sure to check out the description below for the freshest deals on each of these items. And at number 1, taking the top spot, the Canon EOS R50 with the 18 to 45 kit lens. For me, this is the most well-rounded pick on the whole list. It does a little of everything, and it does it without making you fight the camera. Here's why it earns the top spot. The autofocus. This is dual-pixel CMOS AF the second generation, with subject detection that locks onto people, animals, and even vehicles. It covers basically the entire frame with hundreds of focus zones. So whether you're shooting a kid running, a pet, or yourself talking to camera, it just stays sharp. For a beginner, that's the thing that turns shots into keepers. The sensor is the same 24-megapixel APS-C you've seen higher on this list, but paired with Canon's color science and that processor, the stills come out vibrant right out of the box, and the 4K is oversampled from 6K, uncropped, up to 30 frames. That means clean, detailed video without that tight crop eating your wide shots. For vlogging and YouTube, that matters. What buyers keep coming back to is how easy it is. People moving up from a phone or an old DSLR say they were shooting good stuff the same day, no manual required, and the body is tiny and light, so it actually leaves the house with you. Now the catch, and it's the same story as a few others here, that kit lens is compact and versatile, but it's slow. The aperture is dim, so in low light you're pushing ISO and the noise creeps in. The general pattern in reviews is positive. People love it in daylight, then add a faster prime once they start shooting indoors or at night. Good news, you're in the Canon RF system, so that upgrade path is wide open. So think of this as the best all-rounder for someone who wants strong photos, vlog-ready 4K, and autofocus they can trust, all in one small kit. That balance is why it's number 1. The link is in the description. Now you've got the criteria, so you don't get burned by the first one that looks good. If you film yourself talking to camera, number 3 is built for vlogging. If you want manual control in 4K without overspending, number 2. And if you want the best all-rounder for photos and video in one kit, number 1. Updated links in the description. Prices keep moving.